Hi, I'm Judd Tully, the editor-at-large of Art and Auction magazine. We're at the stand of legendary London dealer Daniel Katz, and we're about to look at a very famous sculpture, an Egyptian antiquity, that when it sold in London, it was the most expensive piece ever bought at Christie's South Kensington. And here it is now in Maastricht at the TEFAF fair.
It appeared on the market at the end of last year, and in fact is probably one of the most important Egyptian sculptures of its kind to have appeared in the last 20 years. So when we saw it, it was just so exciting that because it's an exceptional work of art. It was found in Giza in the 1840s by a French diplomat who was also an archaeologist. His family have had it ever since, so it has an immaculate provenance, but also we know the tomb it was found in and the setting of where it was. So it has it's a very interesting piece because the context that it has as well. We're asking £7 million for this piece, which for antiquities with great provenances is not a huge amount. We have had interest from a couple of institutions, so it's looking likely it's probably going to be a museum, but you never know. Yeah. Anyone can walk on the stand and it's available.
This painting is by Jan Mostart, who became court painter to Margaret of Austria in 1518 and was presumably commissioned by her just after Cortez's conquest of Mexico around 1523 to 1525. It is traditionally held and famously known as the earliest depiction of America in Western art. It was a Jacques Goudsticker picture and was not looted by the Nazis, and after the war it ended up in the Franz Hals Museum in Haarlem, where Mostart is from, and stayed there until 2006 when it was restituted. The picture is a generic scene of the discovery and conquest of America. It incorporates conquistadors arriving by sea, presumably based on Cortez and the invasion of Mexico. The picture presumably was not finished before Margaret of Austria's death, and as a result it stayed with Mostart in his studio, and he has later added in an episode from the legend of Pedro Coronado, who was a later conquistador who went up to what's now modern-day New Mexico in search of the 7 cities of gold and had a fight with the Zuni Indians. We are asking for the picture $14 million.
This painting is one of the last of the group of paintings that he's probably most famous for, which were the apocalyptic landscapes. He himself was absolutely driven by this early time from 1913 to 1915 of the impending doom in Europe. Is interesting provenance-wise because it was the very first painting bought by the collector Benedict Silverman. He saw this painting as a self-portrait, or rather a portrait of him, in his wanting to get ahead in the real estate business, and he saw this collapsing city as the risky investments he'd made, and shaking buildings, and him pushing down his competition and getting ahead.